Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and it is the Christmas season, but that doesn't mean we can't get into some good old-fashioned horror. So here are top 5 picks for good horror films to watch during the holiday season. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I'll put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter and Instagram at MovieGuy365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will leave a link for that in the description. All right, so it's the holiday season, but that doesn't mean we can't watch some good horror films. And for some reason, a lot of people think that you can't watch horror movies in Christmas. They don't really go together. I disagree 100%. In fact, if anything, Christmas is the best time to put a horror film together. I mean, there's a ton of good movies, both past and present, that have really done a good job. And it's really kind of refreshing to see a good old-fashioned horror film. There's one here in particular that was released a couple years ago that just kind of reinvigorated my love for horror films in the Christmas season and that kind of time period. But hey, horror is something you can celebrate every day of the year. But let's talk about a few films that I feel, you know, if you're someone new to horror films, or if you're one of those that aren't sure that Christmas and horror go together, these are top 5 films, in my opinion, that you should definitely check out to kind of, you know, change your mind in the subject. So my number 5 is going to be A Christmas Horror Story. That came out only a few short years ago, but it's a good anthology horror flick. It really just, if you saw Trick or Treat, you know, that it kind of it's the same vein, but it's more or less Christmas tales. And of course, it's narrated by William Shatner through like a DJ kind of character. And it's a lot of fun. It's really got those good jump scares, but it's also some cool, creepy stuff. And it's actually a very decent overall horror flick. As I mentioned, if you've seen Trick or Treat, you just transition that over to Christmas time and you pretty much have the same thing. But it's, you know, they're their own things, but it's still a good flick. And it's a nice little, you know, if you want to watch it a little bit at a time, it's kind of broken up into segments. So you can definitely check it out that way. My number 4 is going to be the original Black Christmas. I know they're getting ready to do the remake in theaters in a couple of weeks. And they just recently revealed it's going to be rated PG-13. Sure, okay, why not? But we're talking about the original, the 1974 version, and come on, it's a slasher film set at Christmas. You can't get any better than that. Somebody even gets killed with a unicorn head. I mean, come on, like, this is some good slasher stuff. And while there's another good slasher film on this list, I feel this one is a good modern take on that. A good like classic take on that. It's a, you know, where slasher films are still kind of getting to their footing at that time period. It's an overall really decent slasher film, and it's absolutely something you should check out. My number 3 is a classic. It's Gremlins. Come on. Between this and my number 1, these are the two Christmas horror films that I feel really just kind of, you know, they don't get a whole lot of love these days. But even though recently Gremlins was released in 4K and I got to rewatch that again, it just brought me back to my childhood and seeing a good, you know, it is, I think, for all intents and purposes, a good horror film. I really believe that. It's not a cheesy, you know, kind of film. It's like there's very practical effects. And it's a creepy setting. A lot of the movies, it takes place at night or in dark scenes. So you have that extra added effect with the critters and all that. It's a classic. It really is something you should definitely check out. It's a lot of fun and it holds up today big time. My number 2 is going to be one of the more recent ones. It was the one I was talking about earlier, and that's Krampus. I went into this one with no expectations. In fact, I was really kind of dreading seeing this one. But when I did, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I loved it. I thought it had a good premise, a good plot. The characters are awful. You know, the family kind of deserves what they get. So I think that kind of puts you at a point where you wanna see what can happen, and it's really just a very cool story, and it's kind of monstrous kind of audio mix too. Like, I was watching it in my home theater, and there was a couple scenes where it just like thundered my viewing room, and it was just a lot of fun. It's a good movie, and it holds up. And I've been watching it every year since it came out. So absolutely check out Krampus. It is 100% a good take on a current Christmas horror film. And my number 1 is going to be Silent Night, Deadly Night, the original film. It's like I have memories of this one because like the video store down the road from where I lived I used to go in and they had the standee of you know, the arm coming out of the chimney, and I always thought that was cool. I always wondered what it was about, and it was like a while before my parents would let me see it. And when I did, I loved it. It's funny because I introduced this one to my wife just a couple years ago, and it's cheesy, and she loved it. Like, she's not a big fan of horror films, but she enjoyed this one quite a bit. It is very cheesy, but it's fun, and it's got some memorable lines, and it's just craziness. It's, you know, serial killer dressed as Santa Claus. You can't get better than that. It's a lot of fun. You know, Christmas, hey, you can celebrate it any way you want, but come on, you need to, if you're a movie fan, horror films should be on your agenda for the holiday season. So that's my list. Let me know in the comments below, what would be your 5 or so Christmas horror films that you want everybody to see. Let's talk about it in the comments, because this is a fun topic to go over. So let me know. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I'll put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.